Good morning. How's everyone this morning? Great. I'm Lonnie Bell. I'm the Director of the Community and Family Services Department for Orange County Government. I welcome you to the Taft Community Center. Taft Community Center is one of our largest centers in Orange County. It's one of our most important centers. We have a number of activities here. We have a Boys and Girls Club that operates on this campus, a neighborhood center for family right next door, and next door to that is a Head Start Center. But the highlight of our Taft Community Center is our seniors program. Give yourself a hand, please. We're holding this news conference in one of the largest sites, as I said. Seniors First is our great partner here. They provide free, nutritious meals to our older population. It's appropriate that we're launching our age-friendly initiative in this place that both serves and honors our seniors. We are also excited to announce that we have been accepted into an AARP network of age-friendly states and communities. Congratulations. This new age-friendly initiative centers around building supportive, accessible places for people of all ages and all stages of life. It is for seniors of today and residents who will become seniors of tomorrow. And we will have more on this initiative shortly. But I'd like to introduce our speakers for today. We have three great speakers. First of all, I'm going to introduce someone who you all should know, our Orange County Mayor, Jerry L. Demings. Mayor Demings has been a driving force behind this initiative. Mayor Demings is an Orlando native who has made history in Orange County for several reasons, becoming the first African-American chief of police in the city of Orlando, first African-American Orange County public safety director, first African-American Orange County sheriff, and now the first African-American mayor of Orange County government. The mayor has performed all these roles. Mayor Demings has brought all that experience, that crisis management, to his role as mayor. And during these challenging times, that has been so important for our community. Also with us this morning is Jeff Johnson, State Director, AARP Florida. Jeff is a longtime Floridian who grew up in Jacksonville. Jeff has worked with AARP Florida since 2000 and has been the state director since 2010. Florida is the second largest state for AARP members. I did not know that. And is key launching pad and testing ground for new projects because of its diversity and its importance as a national bellwether. Whether working on policy or testing new ways to engage members of the public on issues that matter to 50-plus population, is there something interesting or happening in the field of aging? It's likely happening in Florida, and AARP Florida is probably involved. And our final speaker will be Mark Middleton. You might know Mark from his days with West TV, but he's the founder and CEO of Growing Bolder, who focuses in on changing culture of aging. A multiple Emmy Award-winning broadcaster, Mark is host of Growing Bolder, which has seen public broadcasting stations nationwide, co-host of Growing Bolder Radio, host of What's Next on commercial TV stations across Florida, and director of the Emmy-nominated documentary film, Conquering Kilimanjaro. Mark is the author of Growing Bolder, Defy the Cult of Youth, I love that title, Rock Stars of Aging. He's the winner of the 2021 Florida Council on Aging Senior Vision Media Award and was recently named Central Florida Power Player by the Orlando Business Journal. And so with the introductions complete, we're going to bring Mayor Demings to the podium. Mayor?
Good morning. Buenos dias and bonjour. It is a privilege to be here today and to help welcome you here into the Taft Community Center. Thank you to Mr. Lonnie Bell for that wonderful introduction that he gave of me. I've had a a lot of titles over the years, but one that I also have is that I'm a member of the AARP myself. But my favorite title is Papa, because I have 5 grandchildren, and so every day I come to work in this community, I try to make it a better place for my grandchildren and eventually their children. And so if we do that, we'll make it a better place for your families as well. And so as I look out over this audience, we have a broad array of people who are represented here. And when Lonnie talked about the fact that Florida is the second largest state for membership in the AARP, perhaps some of you retired here to Florida from other places, and we're glad to have you. We're certainly glad to have you here in Orange County. We have a county now, since in the last decade, our county grew by 24%. We went from about 1.1 million people up to over 1.4 million people call Orange County home, and that creates a lot of interesting challenges for us, and one certainly as we try to make it the best place that our seniors can live. And so here in this community, I know firsthand what it's like to care for a senior. My father, about 2 weeks ago on September the 12th, he turned 99 years old. And so I get to look out for Dad. And I guess I'm eligible to officially draw Social Security myself. And so I have to say to AARP, you all do a magnificent job of recruiting your members, because as soon as you reach, 50 years old, you get that letter in the mail saying you're eligible for membership, and that was a few years ago now for me. And so some people in this room have not yet reached that point. They haven't gotten a letter yet, right, Carol? You and LaVon, y'all haven't gotten a letter yet. But keep standing by. You're going to get it initially. But let me just say, Orange County's new age-friendly initiative is about planning for the next 20 years. It is about building safe, affordable, and livable communities for today's seniors and future generations of older adults. By joining AARP's network of age-friendly states and communities, we will have access to research-driven measurement of what makes communities livable for people of all ages and stages of life. We also have access to aging experts across the country. What I like best about the AARP model is its adaptability. AARP provides a framework and strongly encourages local governments to tailor this framework to their unique community and the needs of their residents. Jeff Johnson with AARP will explain this framework in just a few moments. The timing of this age-friendly initiative could not be better for our community. Creating age-friendly communities is not a standalone initiative. Rather, it is about integrating the needs of older adults into what Orange County is already doing to build this into a great community. It is about aging into the Vision 2050 initiative. Ensuring seniors were a part of the discussion of the Citizen Safety Task Force that we put in place was also important to me. It is also identifying the needs of seniors and interweaving these needs into the county's strategic plans for parks, housing, and transportation. So here's my ask of all of you who are gathered here today. We need you, the residents of Orange County, to take the age-friendly survey. You can take the survey online or ask for a paper copy. If you know someone who does not have access to a computer, tell them about the survey and ask if you can help them complete it if you have access to a computer or the technology to be able to assist them. It is essential to know what Orange County residents need in order to age in place. In other words, to stay in our community and to have all of the needs that you have being met. The survey is open to all Orange County residents ages 18 and older, including residents in all the municipalities within the county. We have opened this survey up to the community because we know that age is not an indicator of health, and caregivers can be any age. Most importantly, today's youth are tomorrow's seniors. I encourage everyone 18 and older to take the survey. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Jeff Johnson from AARP, who will come forward and share additional details.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Bell. I'll try to briefly hit on a couple of points that they both raised about this great day, this new beginning, this joining of the Age-Friendly Network. I want to thank Mayor Demings for his leadership in this effort, and I especially want to thank him and the county as a whole for making the decision to join the AARP Age-Friendly Network. So I just want to make 3 points. The first one is that this is not the end of a process, this is the beginning. So there are a lot of designations that a community can apply for that involve a huge process to submit a detailed application. Once you get accepted, you get a big plaque, you put it on the wall in the office, and you go on with your day and nothing ever changes. This is the opposite of that. The Age-Friendly Network that AARP runs and the World Health Organization created is meant to be a living and learning and dynamic process that communities join, not because they've already achieved age friendliness, but because they want to get better at it. And I appreciate that this is really an outgrowth of a long-time interest that this county and this mayor have had in trying to make this the best possible place to live for people of all ages. So this process begins, as the mayor said, by listening to you. And a few moments ago, I was beginning to ask you questions. This survey is going to ask you a lot more questions about what you love about living here in Orange County and what could be better about living in Orange County. And it's from your input and the input of residents from across the county through this survey that the mayor and the other leaders of this community will be able to identify what are the things that we could work on that could maybe even accentuate the things we're already strong at, or improve some things that maybe our residents are saying we need to work on. So it's really important that you do take this survey because, again, this process begins with you. So once that survey is done, the county will develop an action plan, and then as the name action plan implies, they'll act on it for a few years and implement the things that they've planned, and then come back and assess and see what worked, what didn't, what we should change, and hopefully continue to do that process so that we continue to improve as a place to be. So again, this is not the end, this is the beginning. The second thing that I want to say is that this is not one new thing, one more program, one more initiative to add on to everything else that the county is already doing. The goal here is for us to rethink how we do everything we do from the standpoint of a lifespan. So, and I really appreciate the mayor talking about his role both as a caregiver for a 99-year-old and as a proud grandfather, because one of the things that we've learned doing this work is that often when you're trying to make a community great, you look at those ends of the spectrum, because if you make it a great place for older people and you make it a great place for kids, the rest of us are going to do just fine. And that is the approach that we take. So the framework that the Age-Friendly Network has 8 domains. 3 of them are physical, transportation, housing, and public spaces, places like this. 3 of them are more social. Are there fun things to do? Are there ways to get involved either in the workforce or as a volunteer? Are you respected because of your age or regardless of your age, or is there age discrimination to address? And then the 2 others are around having a really strong community health system and having good communication so that you know what's going on in your community and how to get help or how to find fun things to do. So those 8 domains cover just about everything most people tell us they want in a community. And as the mayor said, you will have flexibility to decide which of these you want to work on and which of these you're going to set aside because you're actually doing okay on. And that, again, goes back to where your input is so important. I also want to flag that one of the things we've seen here in Florida is that communities do have the flexibility to say, you know, this doesn't quite fit these 8 domains, but it's really important from what we've heard from the community. So for some, it's around public safety. For some, it's about climate resilience or storm resistance. All of those different things are for you to tell community leaders what's important for you so they can build an age-friendly plan around it. And then you've already been working on things like transportation and housing. This is an opportunity to rethink those plans that are already in place from the standpoint of how does this play out differently if you're 85 or if you're 95? And how does it play out differently if you're 10 or 5? And I think that taking that age lens, just as we have learned to take lenses of lots of other different slices of a community, is a really important way to open new solutions, as well as to identify challenges that we might have overlooked. Third thing is, there's an old proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. This is about going together. The strength of the AARP Age-Friendly Network is that it is a network. So just as within this community, the county will be working with all sorts of different partners in the nonprofit sector, as well as in the public sector and the private sector, to try to build plans that work for residents, so it is that they'll have access to a network that includes 40 other cities and counties here in Florida that are doing wonderful and very different things that they can bounce ideas off of. Actually, the state of Florida as a state was the 4th state to join as a statewide member of the Age-Friendly Network. So there are state resources to tap into as well. And then there are more than 600 communities across the United States, and AARP facilitates ways to learn from like communities in different places. So if there's a particular challenge that you're trying to solve and you're looking for a new solution, there's a fair chance between the other 600 members across the country that somebody else has tried something you might benefit from. And AARP does convene national experts to focus on the areas that rise from the different communities as ones to focus on. So again, the 3 things. This is the beginning, and I'm really glad that you're here for it. This is a chance to really build something that helps us think through aging in everything that we do. And this is something that we're going to do together, and we hope to go far. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the opportunity to highlight this, and again, for signing up Orange County in this network. You're a wonderful addition, and we look forward to learning from you. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Mark Middleton from Growing Boulder, who's a wonderful example of one of the assets that Orange County has that nobody else in the state does. I appreciate you being here. Go ahead and take it away, Mark.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Lonnie. You know, what a great day and what a great program. I also am a card-carrying AARP member, and you know, proud to be that. And thank all of you for showing up today, because I know there's a lot of different things you could do. And we talk a lot about legacy as we get older, and I like to say that our legacy is nothing more than the stories that people tell about us when we're gone. So if you ever worry about what your legacy might be, you know, just ask yourself what stories people will tell about you. If they say that you were kind, if they say that you were thoughtful, if they say that you were a good listener, that's an amazing legacy. This is a legacy project that the mayor and the county and AARP are working on. Your legacy is participating in it, helping make it better, not just for you and your friends, but for those who follow all of us. And, you know, despite the obvious challenges of the past 18 months, despite the never-ending challenges of growing older, this is without question the greatest time in the history of humankind to be over the age of 40 or 60 or 80 or even 100. Modern man has been on this planet for about 300,000 years, give or take. And for 99.99% of that time, the average life expectancy at birth was 19 years old. The average life expectancy at birth in this country in 1900 was 49. Today, there's an entirely new life stage that has never before existed in history. And I have to tell you, there are no guarantees. Bad things can happen to good people. But that shouldn't keep us on the couch. That shouldn't keep us from leaning into life. If we make the right lifestyle choices, if we show up to events like this, if we participate in surveys like this, we all have the opportunity of living this life stage that could be longer than the time we spent in our careers. This is the blessing of a modern age. I think that the biggest thing that we all have to do individually to maximize this opportunity is to change our belief system about aging, to change what we believe is possible as we age. Because let's face it, we live in an ageist culture. You guys are subjected to it all the time. But a moment at 80, a moment at 90 is every bit as valuable as a moment at 18 and a moment at 19. We have to change what we think about aging, because what the mind believes, the body embraces. Our psychology drives our physiology. Whatever you put in your mind ends up in your body, and if you believe that life beyond a certain age is nothing but a slippery slope into decline, that's what it will be. We anticipate the perceived and negative benchmarks of aging so clearly that we all but guarantee that they will come to pass. Negative perceptions about growing older are now a bona fide public health issue. We have got to believe that more is possible. In a growing bolder, we don't ignore the reality of our mortality. Life is filled with challenges as we get older, but we have to believe that more is possible. The number one determinant of how we age is our lifestyle. And the number one lifestyle determinant is not exercise and it's not diet. As important as both of those are, it is our belief system about aging. It's been proven, multiple studies, those who have a positive image of aging not only live, on average, 7.5 years longer than those who have a negative perception of aging, they have a higher quality of life. And most importantly, from a cultural perspective, they decrease the period of disease and disability at the end of their life. We compress our morbidity when we live lives of passion and purpose moving forward. And here's the tragedy in our culture. 80 cents out of every healthcare dollar, $3.2 trillion a year, are spent on preventable chronic illness. You know, we all talk a lot about who our primary healthcare providers are. I'm going to tell you something you might not like to hear. You are your primary healthcare provider. The healthcare paradigm moving forward is a great network of specialists and therapists and people who can help you. But nobody can make the choices that you have to make for your lifestyle, in the way that you live and how much you sleep, how you help one another. Today is all about community. Community is immunity. Community is immunity from loneliness. It's immunity from depression. It's immunity from cognitive decline. We know this more today than we did 18 months ago. We learned it through the pandemic. Loneliness is killing people. Give yourselves a pat on the back for being here today. Give yourselves a pat on the back for filling out this survey. Give yourselves a pat on the back for helping make Orange County even greater than it is today. One of my most passionate things, and as you can tell, I'll get on a soapbox and I will preach from the Book of Boulder. We all have to be prehabilitating. Prehabilitating is just a fancy word that I like to use, which represents nothing more than making positive lifestyle modifications. And here's why we have to prehabilitate. Because it is a given that all of us, every one of us in this room, every one of us not in this room, everybody that's a human being will encounter a series of health setbacks as we age. It's part of the human condition. And to a large extent, the types of interventions that are made available when we encounter that health setback, the speed of our recovery, the extent of our recovery will be largely determined by our overall health and well-being at the time. Prehabilitation is aging's ultimate no-brainer, and it's never too late to start. So do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, do your community a favor, do our society a favor. Take care of yourself. It's the number one investment you can make. You've heard about the health-wealth connection? You know, we all wish we had more money to invest. The number one investment that everybody can make doesn't cost you anything. It's simply investing in your overall health and well-being. Because our biggest expense moving forward is going to be healthcare. Healthcare is getting better and better and better and better, but it's not getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and it won't. You can dramatically increase the savings that you have, make them last longer, whatever they are, by increasing your overall health and well-being. The program introduced today, the age-friendly cities that AARP works on, the survey that you're going to take is community prehabilitation. This is Mayor Demings and his staff rehabilitating this community, trying to figure out what we can do to make it better, what they can do to serve you, what they can do to serve people of all ages. Why is this important? Because 10,000 people a day are turning 70 in this country. The fastest growing demographic in this country are men and women over the age of 85. Nonagenarians, the people over 90, like Mayor Demings' dad, the number of nonagenarians will quadruple in the next 30 years. The number of centenarians, those over 100, will grow 8-fold. If we don't figure this out, it's going to have a tremendous negative impact on our culture. This is prehabilitation, and God bless you guys for doing it. I will leave you with this. The key to successful aging, if you ask me, is to not mourn what's lost, but to celebrate what remains. To not focus on loss and limitation, but to celebrate passion and purpose and possibility. And yes, we have to make adaptations, and yes, we have to make accommodations, but no matter how old you are and no matter what condition you are in, we have learned that even people in the most advanced stages of dementia still have the ability to experience moments of love and joy that are every bit as powerful as a moment of love and joy when we're 18 or 28. So live your life, lean into it, have fun, smile, and help one another, because community is immunity. Thank you.
And so that's the end of our program this morning. I thank everybody for being here this meeting. Very important. We're looking forward to this initiative getting started in our community. I'd like to thank our community action staff that helped us this morning. Could the community action staff raise their hand, please? That's right. Give them a hand. And give yourself a hand here at the Seniors First program at Taft Community Center. Thank you so much.